everyone. Today, Cara and I will have a little chat about the emotional side of having a special diet or an allergy diet. And thank you so much for watching us, and thank you so much for following us. It's lovely to see you all. Wave to you all. Cara will be joining me in any second, so I can, in the meantime, show you the wonderful cup that Calvin has made me for Mother's Day this year, and he actually made that together with Cara. Cara is also a very talented artist, and here she is. 1, 2, 3, and Cara should be joining us now. The magic is happening.
Hello.
Oh, hi, wonderful. Nice to see you.
It's funny we made that cup such a while ago while everything was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, you made that in February already.
We made it in February, yeah, at Doodles.
It's very much in use. I love it. we should tag Doodles in this here.
Yes, well, Doodles is now doing click and collect, so maybe I should mention them.
Brilliant. I love it. They do wonderful work. Keep the arts and the creativity up. Yeah, Cara, we said that we would talk about the emotional side of having a diet that requires cutting out foods. So
yeah,
like for us, it's quite a few foods. So yeah, and I wanted to also hear your professional side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you should start though, because you have the hands-on experience of what it means to have a child with allergies really in the real world.
Yeah, so people who know our story a little bit, they will know that Calvin's food journey started with just being able to have 3 foods, and I joined him on that journey back then because I also breastfed him, but also because it made our home life easier because he reacted to so many foods, so we would not even bring them into the house. So Daddy also joined the journey, and it is very restrictive, and since then we have been able to include more foods, but we really know how hard it is, and it's also how people around us have to be understanding that we can't eat certain things. I think what I often get, like, people feeling kind of sorry for me when I'm somewhere out and I say, no, sorry, I can't eat this, because it's not necessarily these days that I'm allergic to it, but it's also I can't carry the allergens home. It is, if I would drink a pint of milk, I think these days I would be very, very sick, but I could not give Calvin a kiss. I would actually sort of quarantine myself. I would have to watch that he would not drink from my glass of water or anything. It's not worth the risk bringing this home. But actually, I don't mind. These days I look at other foods and I don't mind not having them. Even the smells and things, they don't do anything for me. But for us, it was, at the beginning, I was so glad when I managed to make something, you know, it was like a tiny portion. I always say portion, I don't know why. I think because there's so much magic in my food.
You're the witch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like, yeah, whiz. So, yeah, you know, Sabine, the teenage witch. Yeah, so it was like at the beginning it was hard for us to share because I didn't know what we were doing, but then when we finally found foods that we could share, and it's amazing, the whole, I think, the allergen free foods, the free from foods, the gluten free foods, they become less medicalized and more normal. And it's nice when you go to a restaurant and they make the menu also normal for you. You're not like, I've been to certain restaurants where they have nothing, or they give you this like really disgusting folder, and you go like, and you know, it's even on top an ugly folder.
Sticky folder.
It's not. So calling ahead is very, very important to find out where you're going. But it's like a lot of places made it more inclusive, and it's just nice because I've been in restaurants with friends where the most I had was sparkling water or Diet Coke. And the rest were eating, and I came to see them and I came to socialize, and from my perspective I did not necessarily mind not eating. I was there to meet them, but it's a huge social inclusion thing, and that makes it actually really hard, other than not being able to have the same foods. I don't know, how do you find it from clients of yours when you tell them you have to cut this out? How do they usually react, or what do you tell them? Because there's obviously also memories and history attached to certain foods. It can be really hard, and I understand that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. So we as people attach so much emotion to our foods, like birthday
Mm.
cake. Victoria's sponge cake, for example, is so emotive of childhood birthday parties. And it's not my birthday until I've had a Victoria's sponge cake. And so what I do for people is I reframe it. So instead of you can't have dairy, I say, so we're going to avoid dairy for 3 weeks, and instead you can have all these other incredible things. You can have whole foods, you can whole grains, you can have vegetables, you can have soya yogurt, coconut yogurt, you can have all this variety of ice cream, you can make your own pizza. And so I just bombard them with a list of things you can have instead of a list of things that you can't have. And then I talk specifically about the kind of strategies to put in place to not feel socially excluded. So if you're feeling uncomfortable about going to a restaurant, maybe look at the menu ahead of time, decide what you're going to have, decide to ask the waiter or waitress exactly what's in that food before coming to the restaurant, so calling ahead. Going to a place you know has been successful in the past, or for example, if you're on a dairy-free diet or an egg-free diet, then just going to a vegan place will guarantee that it's going to be okay. So, and I found when I started my own kind of journey into health foods that my friends were really supportive of that because they could see me getting better. So they were never once, oh, we've got to go to this particular place, because they knew that would make me feel uncomfortable. So it would just be being really honest with your social circle, your family, your friends, and saying, look, this is making me better. This is what's making me well. So this is where we're going. I'm kind of taking responsibility for it. And I also speak to my clients a lot about reframing it into a positive experience. So instead of I am now intolerant to dairy and it's causing me all these problems, or I am intolerant to gluten and it's causing me all these problems, oh my goodness, what an opportunity to experiment with food and see what I can cook and what I can learn, and how many more foods I can try that I would never have tried had I been eating a diet rich in these other foods.
That is so true. We found things we would have never had, and I would say they're 100 times healthier than what we had before. And I also find that it's very exciting when you come up with your own creations and your friends get really excited, and you're like, oh, I managed to make this gluten-free cake. At the very beginning, and I think you still remember it, it was like when we had Calvin's first birthday cake, and I obviously was a complete other idiot in the kitchen. Oh gosh. But fortunately, I had found this lovely lady online, Lorna, and she had made us the most gorgeous cake I've never ever seen for any birthday. Such a beautiful cake, and it was delicious, and it was safe to have. Exactly. It's actually, it can be these days really exciting, a nice, positive experience.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely just reframing it into my life doesn't have to be about what I can't have. It should be about what I can have, and what I can have is amazing. We're not living in the oldie days when none of these foods were available. There's now substitutes for everything. And so long as they're used in moderation, they're excellent. And I think that's what's so wonderful about Calvin's Free From Foods, is that it's not a medical product, and it can be enjoyed by the whole family. And it does bring a certain sense of normalcy to meals. They look like sandwiches, you know, so they taste delicious.
That's what's children are obviously beautifully honest, and Calvin still being like in the preschool age, and they ask like, why can't Calvin have this and why can't he have that? But then we just hand out sandwiches and they all have the same, and it just no further questions asked, and they don't mind, and they just enjoy all the food. And that is also for Calvin so important. He loves sharing food, and it's just and he knows that often he's obviously not allowed to take from other people's plates, but he loves just handing it out, and that's just, it's so nice. I think we all love more giving than necessarily taking, and that's kind of, and I think that's for someone who has to change their diet also really emotionally important, and nice to be able to share.
To share.
Right, shall we leave at this point? Is that...
Absolutely, I think that's a good point to leave it. And we'll see everybody next week.
We see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all your input and all your help, and also for making amazing cups. You are a woman of endless talents, Cara.
Thank you, Sabine.
Right, I see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.